Just to tell you a little bit about the format of this, we have about an hour and a half. In the first half, Alex and Taylor are going to just talk a little bit about esports and StarCraft 2, of course, and answer, basically just informally a bunch of Q&A from the audience. And then for the second half, we actually have a bunch of games that they're going to cast live here that are the finals match of the ongoing StarCraft 2 tournament that we've been having at Google for the past month and a half or so. We started with 50 people. We've been running, 5 rounds of Swiss to top 8 elims, and all the way down to finally last night the finals were played between Adam, who's an intern here, I don't know where he is, and Ryan, who's a, and Ryan, who is a tech stop administrator in 43. I'm not sure if he's here.
Thanks for organizing everything.
You're welcome. All right, so without further ado, our two guests today, Alex HDStarcraft is, you've probably all seen his YouTube videos. He's got over 57 million views on YouTube. On his channel, he's been interviewed by NPR. He's hosted the Invitational HDH tournament during the beta, which was a huge tournament. He's probably got a bunch of other accomplishments he can tell you about. Taylor Painuser Parsons is also here, and he's one of the top players in the world. Actually, I think last night you were ranked 9th in the world. And so he's a diamond level Terran player. He's been featured in PC Gamer, as well as several high profile tournaments, including the HDH Invitational and Intel Extreme Masters Qualifier. And so help me give him a warm welcome, and welcome, guys.
Hey guys, just want to thank Brian here for setting this up and inviting us out to come out to Google's headquarters. I've never been here before, and I just came from the dining hall or the cafeteria, and I was blown away by how much food you guys have. That was really awesome. Anyways, yeah, I'm Alex, I'm also known as HD, and this is my very tall friend, Taylor.
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Taylor, and yeah, we're here today to talk a little bit about competitive StarCraft 2 and esports as a whole, which is something very near and dear to me, and which only recently we've been able to do pretty much at a professional level. Pretty much my entire life it interfered with school, work, anything like that, but now I'm actually able to fly around the United States and participate in tournaments, and it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, thanks for having me.
So I guess we're going to go ahead and answer a couple questions that, there's this laptop here with a bunch of questions that I guess we can talk about esports. Yeah, I guess a lot of people out here, maybe you guys aren't familiar with StarCraft 2 or esports, or I guess electronic sports in general. It's kind of a fast-growing thing that started first in South Korea. And the game that was primarily featured there was StarCraft Brood War, which is the predecessor to StarCraft 2, here that's on the screen. And that game has grown over the last decade to become one of the most competitive video games in the entire world. With the release of StarCraft 2, it's grown outside of South Korea, and there's a lot of $1,000 tournaments, hundreds of thousands of dollars that have been poured into StarCraft 2 around the world. And basically, I guess we're here to talk about that, esports, and we think that it's got a huge potential to grow, and it's already grown quite a bit. There's been a lot of tournaments. For example, Taylor and I just came back from Raleigh, North Carolina, where I casted and he competed in the tournament there, and it was a lot of fun. So it's worldwide. It's a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah, and especially lately in the United States, it's really been taking off. I think one of the large problems here in the U.S. was just, it was a culture thing. In South Korea, the pro gamers are actually revered. They're kind of like NFL superstars. They're on commercials, they get endorsements. And here it's like there's a huge cultural barrier between professional gaming and like real sports. And a lot of people really don't consider competitive gaming to be an actual sport. And I'll argue with people till I'm blue in the face, but it doesn't really make a difference. And I think now it's really coming into the light, and a lot of companies like Intel, Dell, HP, NVIDIA, ATI, they're all starting to put a lot of money into these tournaments, and they're realizing that it's actually a good investment. They actually get a lot of viewership out of sponsoring these tournaments, and they make products for gamers, so it makes a lot of sense for them to do that. And it's getting bigger in the U.S. If you're on remote, please mute. Please mute. It makes a lot of sense for us to be doing this now, and it's only going to get bigger. So I'm really excited for the future of StarCraft 2. And yeah, I think we're going to take some questions now from, I think they're collected in-house, so they're all from Google employees. And also, if anybody has any questions for us, feel free to just step up and ask questions at the mic.
All right, cool. So I guess while we wait, if anyone wants to go up and ask us any questions, we'll be happy to answer it. I guess one of a really good question here is, how do we think StarCraft 2 is going to evolve differently from StarCraft 1? And what do you really think is new and different about SC2? Well, first, am I stepping on something? Okay. I think StarCraft 2, first of all, there's a lot of different games that can be good in esports, but there's very few that actually get to that competitive level. There's games like, and me and Taylor have talked about this. Okay, a little bit technical difficulties, but I think there's a lot of different kinds of games that can be good, but there's very few that can actually excel in esports in general. StarCraft, Counter-Strike, I'm sure a lot of these names ring a bell. Quake, those kind of games have the potential to be competitive, and really they require a high skill ceiling to be good. There's other games as well that can be good, but they just don't feel that competitive scene. They're not as competitive and interesting and exciting to watch. So that's why StarCraft 2, it's this new kind of plateau. It's this new game that's come out that I think has a huge potential to be competitive, it's very exciting to watch, even towards the casual viewer, even if you don't know what's going on. Like a couple of my friends back home, they never watch StarCraft 2. They don't even play the game, but when they watch it, for the first time when they first watched it, they liked it a lot, and it's really easy to get into. So I think StarCraft 2 has a huge potential to evolve and even become better than its predecessor, Brood War. And I know, Taylor, you have some things you want to talk about that. So.
Well, I think if darts and women's pool can be on ESPN, I think StarCraft 2 definitely has a spot in the future. I think a while back there was an organization called the Championship Gaming Series, or the CGS, which was a company that actually tried to do direct TV based tournaments with Counter-Strike 1.6 and Quake 3, and those are the games that I used to play. I used to play Quake 3 competitively, but they actually went under because there just wasn't enough of a buzz around those games in particular. And I think StarCraft 2 is going to be great for the scene because it's able to unify people from all different walks of gaming. People who play FPS, real-time strategy, first-person shooters, role-playing games. You see tons of World of Warcraft players playing StarCraft 2 now. And people who just haven't gamed in general before are now taking up StarCraft 2, trying to learn how to get better, approaching the game critically. And I think it's just really good for everyone in general. It's a tough mental game. It really sharpens your skills as a gamer. You have to be really intelligent. You have to think very quickly and actively and make intelligent decisions while you play. And I think it's probably one of the harder sports out there, and I really don't see a skill cap for the game. I mean, there's people that I consider great players, but they're constantly getting better. They're constantly evolving, and I've never seen someone that I thought was at the peak of the game or that I thought couldn't get better. And the same goes for myself. Like, I'm constantly looking at flaws in my own game, flaws in my own skill, and constantly trying to improve. And I think that's what makes it such an awesome spectator sport, if you truly understand the game. And even if you don't, it's really fun just to watch because it's exciting, and they've upped the graphics a lot with the new game. And it's just a really fun game to play in general. So it's my 2 cents on StarCraft 2 and esports.
They actually, we have a small nickname we use in the community, and we usually tell people it's kind of like chess on steroids, StarCraft 2. It's just, you have so many maneuvers, just like you can move the pawn, you can use the bishop, and all those moves. I'm not that great with chess, but basically in StarCraft 2, you don't have the time to think about your moves. Everything's operated in real time, and you're always presented by millions and millions of decisions, and it really comes down to how you play strategically, as well as how you execute your army and control your economy. It's really a great game, and I think that's one of the major factors that make it so good. Please mute.
We're getting a lot of noise from someone externally. Can you please mute? Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. So yeah, I guess someone has a question.
So one interesting difference between computer game watching and sports watching is with sports there's something obvious to look at. With a chessboard there's a board that you can that where the game is pretty much focused, and with sports you're following the ball. Mm-hmm. Whereas with computer games you could be jumping all around the map.
Right.
So is there some barrier to whoever's narrating for that? I mean, is there some skill level required to actually narrate a game to introduce to people what's going on, as opposed to just? I mean, you can't just leave the camera in one place. You have to.
Right.
You have to follow the action, and the action could be going on in multiple places. So, could you talk to that a bit?
Yeah, well, just like in football, like you said, there's always one ball that you watch, or basketball, there's a ball that you essentially focus on. And if you think about the casual viewer, if they don't understand the rules of football, then when they watch the game, they can kind of grasp the idea. You get it to the end zone, you get 6 points, and then plus a field goal, and you start to learn as you watch along. Obviously, if you play the game, then you understand even more. And the real beauty about this StarCraft 2 in general is it's very easy to understand. Big armies clashing against big armies. Somebody has more units at the end, and that means that they're the winner, you know, so they're going to push forward and win the game. And obviously, it does take some time to, I think, get used to, but for the casual viewer, if you start to watch a little bit, it's very easy to get hooked. And that's how it started with me, and a lot of my friends as well.
Indeed. And also, to that effect, I know in Korea they have a professional third-party guy who actually just operates the camera, and that's all he does. And the casters just cast what they see. And then also, that's pretty much what Alex does pretty much for a living. He dictates what part of the game you're watching, and he shoutcasts or broadcasts that specific aspect of the game. And he understands, and if I were in his shoes and doing the same thing, I understand that there's a lot of people who aren't at the super high competitive level, so you try not to jump around and be really aggressive with the camera. You try and move slow and pan around and make sure you're very like slow paced with it, and cover things that are not so much obvious, but cover things that people might not be looking at during the game. So point out things that people might be missing, or simple strategies, stuff like that. And then obviously the big battles, right, anything like that. Just make sure that you have your camera on that and you don't miss it. It's pretty important not to miss those things. So yeah, we're gonna go through a couple of these questions. If anybody else has, go ahead.
Another difference between traditional sports and esports like StarCraft is that element of multiple people on a team. In StarCraft, it seems to be solo player. Why do you think StarCraft hasn't embraced the multiple players with shared control on the same team sort of play?
We actually do that a lot. We're almost all of the top competitive players, we're all on teams, and we have teammates that we practice with regularly. We have a lot of camaraderie, and we do clan wars versus other teams, like organized clan wars. And I guess the closest analogy I could draw to a real sport would be something like wrestling, where you have a team, but people compete individually for points, and then your total team score dictates who wins the match. And I know in Korea it's the same way. They have professional teams that are sponsored by a company, and everybody represents the same team, and they practice together, they live together, eat, sleep, and breathe StarCraft together. So yeah, we do have teams, but You're actually right. In the U.S., it is a little bit different. The major tournaments don't really embrace the whole team aspect of it. All the major tournaments are just one-on-one competition, and that determines who wins the big pot. But we're trying to push for it to become more of a team-based thing, because that's the format that we all enjoy the most. It's much more fun that way, and you also have teammates with you. Like, I know when I was competing in the MLG, it's incredibly nerve-wracking to not have a team and just to be out there by yourself, running through all the games in your head, like going over the different matchups, the different strategies, not having a team, not having that support. And I would really like for it to be like that in the future, but I don't know if it's going to go that way in the U.S. But it's like that in Korea. They do have teams.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so yeah, I think it'll be a big step if we can get some more team orientation in here in the U.S. That would be really the ideal stepping stone. But for those of you guys who don't know much about StarCraft or StarCraft 2, there are 3 races, and that's basically 3 teams that you can be. It's Zerg, Protoss, or Terran, and Zerg is the buggy race, kind of like the insects from Starship Troopers. The Terrans are basically the Rico Roughnecks, like you like to put it, Taylor. They're the humans, and they're basically just like redneck outlaws that got sent out into space. Think of space like Australia, but Protoss is the Protoss are the I guess they're kind of like the advanced telepathic race, and they're kind of like the unknown, the mysterious, the enigmatic race. And basically, when you play StarCraft 2, you pick one of those races. If you play competitively multiplayer, you pick one of those, you master it. Taylor is a Terran player, so he plays the humans, and I'm a Zerg player, so I play the bugs. And yeah, there's 3 races, and I think this question is asking about, it seems like there aren't as many Zerg pros as opposed to Terran or Protoss. And the question is asking, do you believe Zerg is an underpowered race, or that they're being misused? And since I'm a Zerg player, I have to say that I actually play at a fairly decently competitive level, around like 1,000 diamond. I don't think Zerg is unbalanced right now, and of course, since this is a video game, the company Blizzard can always patch and make updates and changes to the gameplay. But as of right now, I think that the gameplay is fairly balanced. I don't really have any problems with it.
As a Terran player, I feel like it's pretty easy to squash Zergs. I don't know. I think Zerg could definitely use a little bit of love. If you look at like the top 30 on ladder, there's like 3 Zergs. If you look at like tournament results for like the last couple months, I mean, Idra, the foreigner pro Zerg who lives in Korea, is like the great white hope for Zerg. He's just like the only player winning anything, and he's just incredibly talented. He's remarkably fast. He plays really smart. And I just think it's because he's better than everyone. And he sticks with Zerg, more power to him. He actually played Terran in the original StarCraft Brood War. And like every time I play with him, he's just constantly complaining about Zerg and like how underpowered they are and everything. It's like, give me more Zerg tears. I just can't take it anymore because Zerg was super strong at the beginning of the game. And then Blizzard obviously patched the game, and they changed the balance, which is something that's also really important in StarCraft 2. And it's something that Blizzard, as a game development company, does incredibly well. They balance all of their games to a level that makes them almost perfect. Like in StarCraft Brood War, the original, I think in Pro Korea, which is the best example because these guys play 12 hours a day. They get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the competition is just on a whole nother level. And I think they got it to the point where with 3 unique races in a game, they had the win percentages at 33.33 across the board, which is like unheard of in any game. In any other RTS that you look at or play, I've played a bunch of RTSs from other games and stuff, and they're just so unbalanced. I mean, Blizzard just puts all the other game development companies to shame. They have a much better development team, and they're really good at balancing the games. So I think in the future, regardless of what happens as far as balance is concerned, the game will be balanced. It's just a matter of time, and it's a matter of top-level players exploiting specific strategies, and then Blizzard seeing, oh, hey, look, this guy's winning every single tournament, doing the same thing every single time, and then eventually they'll patch it. But sometimes it takes a little longer than I'd like for them to respond, but any kind of changes they make to the game are major and they're permanent, so they have to be really careful. So
There are some units right now that Terran has that I do not like Reapers and Hellions. I don't like those when they're in my drones, killing my economy. Yeah, go ahead.
all right, the next question is, from your experience with SC game dynamics, what are some of the lessons that can be transferred from that environment into a real-world incentive structures that we have for people? Skip. Are you interested in establishing an internet StarCraft school, e.g. $1 per video lesson? If Blizzard is okay with it, is such an idea viable? The idea is viable, and I actually work for a company called SkillCapped that flies me to events all over the nation, and they pay about $4 per minute to the content providers who make videos, and we make instructional video on demand for any level StarCraft player, any race, and it's all from top tier players. There's about 10 of us right now making videos for them. So there are videos out there that, like instructional and educational videos, that I think you pay like a $6 monthly subscription and you get access to over 600 VODs or something like that. So it's very cheap and it's well worth it in my opinion. And there's also tons of free stuff out there. Like my friend and I are working on this project right now called the Strategy Bunker, or the Strat Bunker. It's youtube.com/stratbunker. We have a bunch of guides, VODs. I've put up a bunch of high-profile matches of mine, important matches, where I'll just give audio analysis of what I'm thinking during the game, my thought process, how to approach high-level play, stuff like that. And then we also give lessons to more people than I would like. Sometimes it's hard to balance playing and giving lessons sometimes, but I can't complain about the demand. And I'm really happy that the demand exists for people who are actually willing to pay top-level players to get better. And there's actually this guy, I think he's the Prince of Dubai. He flew out a couple of the guys from Team Evil Geniuses and paid them, I think, like $10,000 a piece for a week's worth of StarCraft 2 instruction. So I'm trying to get on that level.
Yeah, whenever I come over to his house, he's always giving a lesson. Never has time for his friends anymore. But I like this question right here, since he was talking about youtube.com/stratbunker. You guys all know I have a YouTube channel too, where the casual viewer can go and just enjoy some StarCraft 2 matches, youtube.com/HDStarcraft. And the question here is, how important was YouTube for your success? And are there features you'd like to see that could enhance the StarCraft 2 viewership on YouTube? And how about things that would make my own YouTube experience better? And since, of course, Google owns YouTube, I guess this is a great question. I think YouTube was huge for my success. I mean, it was a great video platform, obviously, that millions of viewers watch every day. And it seems that there's a huge gaming, there's a lot of viewers on YouTube that love to watch video games. I mean, why not? And the cool thing about StarCraft 2 is that you love to play the game, but it's almost like you prefer to watch better players play, because it's very stressful to play. I mean, yeah, even for myself, when I sit at home and I want to play some ladder, after a couple I'm like, man, I'm pooped. I don't want to play anymore. It's too stressful. So a lot of viewers like that, they love to just go on and watch other people play. The stress is on them and they get to sit back and eat popcorn, drink soda, and watch a good cast. So I think YouTube was huge for the success that we're at right now. And as far as features that could go to enhance the viewer experience, I guess maybe some kind of a live chat system, or maybe some way that YouTube could do some kind of a live stream setup, because right now we're forced to use live stream or Ustream. And I'd like to have YouTube to have maybe some kind of YouTube live system. better support just for gamers in general, because not only is YouTube a film and animation kind of a thing, because if you guys look on the categories, they have film, animation, they have news, education, entertainment, but gaming is often kind of overlooked, but it's huge. There's so many viewers that watch gaming videos in general. It's in the millions per month, I think like 20 million, 30 million. So it's really quite a good platform. I really like YouTube, so yeah.
Where are we at right now?
I think we could go ahead and cast a game. But
Yeah.
does anyone else have any other questions?
Yeah. Is it anybody have any questions before we start casting some games? Go for it.
Hi. So, I'm sure lots of us here are gamers, and we all, probably had some friends we played with when we were younger, and somebody was the best one, right? And I thought I was pretty hot shit in high school, and then I went to college, and I met a lot more people, and I realized, wow, I'm not nearly as good as I thought I was. But it's how did it actually dawn on you that you had the potential to be one of the best in the world?
It's a good question. When I was growing up, two of my best friends, a guy named, well, it doesn't really matter, but Ryan and Garrett, I grew up with them. They both play StarCraft as well. And we played games throughout our entire youth. We would rush home from school every day and just hop on and start playing with one another. And we were all really competitive, and we just kept pushing each other. And we all considered ourselves pretty intelligent, and we would approach games very critically from a very young age when we were 14. And we just wanted to be the best. And I think one thing that really catapulted us was when we started playing games online and just realizing how terrible we were when we played multiplayer and just getting stomped repeatedly. And then from that, you start to realize that losing really isn't that bad of a thing. As long as you have that bitter taste in your mouth and you want to get better and you don't want to lose anymore, you take every loss as a learning experience. And then you just build on that, and eventually you get to the point where, we competed in all kinds of different games, but we always played RTS games, real-time strategy games like StarCraft 2 on the side and for fun. We would constantly compete with one another. And then when StarCraft 2 came out, or before StarCraft 2 came out, we all actually played IC Cup for about 6 months, which is it's just a program that allows you to play on LAN with StarCraft Brood War, and a bunch of the Koreans play on IC Cup, and the competition's real thick. And we started from ground zero, which is D rank, I think, 1,000 points, and I ended up getting C+, B- rank with Terran and Zerg after about 6 months, and I was just grinding out tons of games, and that's when I knew that I could probably do it, because I was competing with some of the best players having come in at 6 months when these guys were playing for 8, 9 years. And that's when I really gained the confidence to say, hey, I might be able to do this with StarCraft 2. I should probably give it a shot. And then I just played a ton of StarCraft 2 during the beta. And now I'm here.
Okay, cool. So if nobody else has any questions, I guess we'll go ahead and get to the featured content today. The main presentation, which is, I guess you guys here at Google had a StarCraft 2 tournament, which I think was 60 players. So we're going to go ahead and cast the finals, which features, I think, an intern and an employee. I might be wrong. So we're going to go ahead and get into the game.
How many of you actually play StarCraft 2? Yeah! Right on. How many of you are Gold League? How many of you are Platinum? How many of you are Diamond? Oh, wow. Right on.
How many of you have never played? Okay.
So only about 10% of you, this is whew.
We've been talking this is for the casual the whole time, but there's a lot of Diamond players here, so.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Turn it on?
Yeah, it's on.
All right. Cool. So, let's see. I guess I'll be doing spectating duties.
All right, this is going to be awesome.
So, is it a...
Here, I'll stand up here.
Is it finals game 1? I think so, yeah. You guys hear me?
Did anyone in here other than Adam compete in the tournament? A lot of you did? Okay, awesome.
I think the view is kind of up high. Oh, maybe not. Finals game 1 and then finals game 2, is that right? Okay. Can we have the finalists just stand up real quick so everyone knows who they are? Du and Vitasoy. So that's Du. And his opponent, is his opponent here? His opponent has a flu. Okay. All right, so this is the first game. We're going to go ahead and load it up. And I think Du is going to be playing the Protoss race. So I'm not sure what his opponent plays. Is my mic on? Okay. Hey. All right, so this is the first game. And this is the finals of the Google Starcraft.
Yeah.
All right, hopefully you guys can hear me. So here we go. So we have a green Terran spawning here. Looks like they're playing on the default map Lost Temple. And Vitasoy here is going to be the dark green Terran who has spawned at the 9 o'clock position. There are 4 positions you can spawn at on this map. And so that is going to be our human race there, dark green Terran. And his opponent is going to be the pink Protoss.
Both players making shout-outs to their local tech stops.
All right, so
Okay.
good.
I gotta use this one.
Okay. So yeah, Protoss versus Terran. I know that Taylor here, you're very well informed about this matchup. You've played this several times, so maybe you can give us a little insight about what you think.
Indeed, I have experience dealing with the Protoss scum. So it looks like a pretty standard opening from our Terran player here. He's opening with, what is that, a 12 Rex? Yes, indeed. I think he might have done it on 11, but no big deal. Getting his gas up as well, so it looks like he's probably gonna open into a factory, or he might just get one Marine out and then switch directly into some Marauders. If we go to our Protoss player's base, he is making a gateway and getting some early gas. So kind of interested to see where he heads with this, but looking pretty standard so far from both players.
For those of you guys who are wondering, this is the base of the Protoss, and these blue things are the mineral patches, which you mine just like and you're able to construct different kinds of units.
Here, just put it up to your mouth. It works.
All right, so
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
Cool. So these are the mineral patches that the players collect to receive money to build different things. These are the This is the Vespine gas, which allows you to tech to the higher level units. And essentially, StarCraft 2 is a game of war and strategy. The beginning of the game typically revolves around collecting as much money as you can and resources, and then teching up and outthinking and outplaying your opponent.
This is definitely true. And he is opening with a factory, so it looks like we're going to see some mech play out of our Terran user, which I am a huge fan of. I love meching versus Protoss, which is basically using factory units, units like siege tanks, and slowly pushing your opponent and constricting your opponent. It's a very meticulous style of play, and it looks like we got something building in the bottom of the map.
There we go.
We got a proxy pylon in the bottom of the map, and look for some kind of building like a Stargate or a Dark Templar shrine or whatever it's called. Basically buildings that I don't like to see, and it's probably going to catch the Terran user off guard, especially if he makes a Stargate. It's really difficult to deal with quick void rays in your base. Void rays are essentially these flying chandeliers that shoot like a blue beam of death that kills everything.
They're very nasty to deal with.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal with void rays is, man.
Blizzard, if you're hearing us right now, please fix the void ray. All right, so at the Terran player's base, he has opened with a very fast starport here. Interestingly enough, he hasn't lifted it off and added it to any of the tech labs or any of the add-ons that he's got. So he's just got a starport, kind of chilling there, also producing a secondary barracks. But we have some units pushing across the map for our Protoss player, and it looks like really wants to add some pressure right now. And let's see how effective this is going to be. I think force field is going to be very key here, but that force field, it's not really going to allow him to add any pressure. In fact, that kind of helped the Terran player, and I think he's going to be forced to fall back.
Yeah, he basically created a nice little wall for the Terran player to keep his Marines behind and prevented his own Zealot from getting up there. What you want to do in a situation like that is try and split the Terran's army in half, or trap about half of the Marines on your side of the ramp.
Absolutely.
So let's see what the proxy building is, see what's going on. We've also got a scouting factory. Oh no, don't you laugh. This is fairly standard, actually.
Oh.
I do this all the time.
We do have a Void Ray coming out of the Stargate.
Oh man, he is supply blocked though, so the Void Ray is going to take a little while to get out. The scouting factory is actually a great scouting maneuver. It has pretty much infinity hit points, and you can get a full scout on the entire Protoss base, which is really important because if you burn a scan, that's essentially like 270, 300-ish minerals, and you're not necessarily going to find the buildings that you really need to see in a Protoss player's base. So I like to fly a factory in and see what's going on.
All right, so it looks like we have the Protoss player really trying for a second attempt here to add some pressure to the Terran player. What the Terran player still doesn't realize is there are Void Rays kind of building up towards the south side of his base, and these could be very deadly if the Protoss tries to go for that two-pronged attack. He also has a pylon warping in, and something that Protoss players can do is actually warp in units through the pylon, but it looks like we have a Banshee also trying to add some pressure to the economy of the Protoss, but that's going to be warded away by those two Stalkers, and the Banshee is going to be forced to fall back.
It's too bad he didn't have Cloak right there, huh? He would have...
If he had Cloak, he could have done some damage to the economy of the Protoss. But look at this, another force field to block himself from entering the Terran player's base. Like, he doesn't want to go up.
I get what's going on here. This is like the whole, I'm going to pretend to run up your ramp and then force field so you can't get out while I build up my Void Rays secretly.
And the Void Rays are coming in from the
There
back.
we go. The Void Rays are already charged up. They're in Super Saiyan mode. Nothing can stop them now. And as a Terran player, this is pretty much the worst possible situation you can be in. This is where I'm like banging my head against the keyboard and talking about how ridiculous this game is.
This was some pretty sneaky play by the Protoss player. Now it's forcing the Terran to pull all of his SCVs off to try to repair the bunker. All the forces have walked up into the Terran main right now, and they're inflicting heavy casualties on the Terran bio, and all the SCVs forced to fight the Stalkers as well. Not a good position to be in. The command center also dies from the Void Rays. I think this might just be a good game for Vita Soy.
Great game.
Good game indeed.
So as a rule of thumb now, I've pretty much just been making a single Viking first against all Protoss players. Just in case something like that is going on. Because if you don't have a Viking, it's pretty much impossible to stop that. Like, if you guys saw, what did he have? Like maybe 10 Marines with stim pack, and once the Void Rays are charged to level 3, the Marines just get liquidated. It's like they're not a viable counter to Void Rays unless you have like 20 plus or something like that.
Yeah, it was a bit of a difficult position if you're a Terran player, even as when I'm a Zerg. If there's a Protoss player putting a Stargate somewhere hidden on the other side of the map, it's very hard to see that. And when they come, sometimes you're just not prepared. So obviously that game,
The campaign is why.
This was
a
mute. Remote people, mute. Are they like tuning in as we go? Like hopping in? Okay, that makes sense.
All right, so that was the first game, and this is a best of 3. So if O really wins the second game, then he is the Google Starcraft 2 champion.
Of the world.
Of the world. So, well, Google is the world, so.
Indeed, Google owns the world's information.
Here we go. So game number 2 between Vita Soy and O'Reilly. Vita Soy
It looks like they've decided to play on Zelnaga Caverns, which is an interesting map, very wide open natural expansion, hard to hold on to. Vita Soy here going to be spawning as the green Terran at the top right-hand position. And his opponent, who won the last game, oh really, going to be once again Protoss, pink Protoss, down in the bottom left.
I find this map very difficult to play versus Protoss on, just because of all the wide open areas at the natural. And then if you go to the middle of the map at the Zelnaga Towers, go check it out real quick for me.
Sure.
Thanks. If you got, like right here, if you look at the wall to the central area in the middle of the map, so like from the Zelnaga to mid right there, Protoss can force field really well right there and just like split your army in half and create this death trap in the middle of the map. And a lot of Protoss players will bait you. They'll like lull you into a false sense of security. And you're like, okay, I've got this. I'm winning. I'm winning. You push across and then they just force field your army in half.
Well, that's one of those tactics that can be really brutal if they cut your army in half and then you're forced to basically fight or retreat and lose half your army.
Yeah,
it's nasty against Protoss.
It's really hard to deal with. And I mean, maybe if you have like Ultras or Colossus or a Thor or something to stomp on the force fields, that would be great, but I never have that. So I'm always in a situation where my units are just stuck for like 10 seconds.
All right, so Vita Soy opening one barracks, one refinery, relatively standard, not walling off his frontal door, and the enemy Protoss is going to get his scouting probe inside. Keep in mind that in StarCraft 2, you do need to have vision by sending a unit in, otherwise you're completely in the dark. And any good Protoss player will always try to harass those SCVs that are constructing those buildings. Always a nasty thing to deal with if you're Terran.
Yeah, it's super annoying. And the shield regeneration rate in StarCraft 2 is a lot faster than it was in Brood War. So probes can essentially get, I don't know, if they're microing perfectly, a Protoss player can get about 5 SCVs to half, if not kill one of the SCVs that's building a building, and it's just frustrating to deal with.
Absolutely.
That's kind of why I enjoy walling, because really walling off against Protoss, I think it's pretty essential. Otherwise, they can chrono boost out that first Zealot and just send it straight to your base. Like, for instance, if he just sent this one Zealot straight to his base, it would probably show up at around the time there were 2 Marines. And a single Zealot can kill 2 Marines very easily, if not just run straight to the mineral line and kill a few SCVs. And it's pretty much free to wall off, so why not do it?
Now, I'm curious to see what O'Reilly's going to try to do this game, because last game, he tried to pretty much cheese his opponent through a proxy Stargate, which, also known as throwing that Stargate in a very hidden location. And what do we have here this game? A pylon all the way in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, and he's warping in a gateway. This is actually nowhere really, it barely helps the distance between his gateway all the way to the Terran base. So I'm really interested to see why he's put this gateway out here. But of course the Terran player doesn't see this. So this could be a surprise attack. There's also a second gateway coming in for O'Reilly. Meanwhile, back at the Terran, he's got a factory up, getting a tech lab on that factory, and teching straight up to that starport once again. Last game, he made pretty good use of that Banshee, but ultimately was not able to hold off the Void Ray attack.
I actually really like this play from the Protoss player. Basically, he's building 2 gates in his main, and then he's proxying the other 2 gateways. So, like, in the event that the Terran does scout his main or scans his main, he's only going to see those 2 gateways. So he's not going to think that there's some kind of really aggressive 4-gate push, which is what's coming to his front door in about 2 seconds. I really don't think he's anticipating this. And he also opened with the 1-1-1, which is the barracks into factory into starport build. So he's not going to have many units to deal with an all-in rush like this, and I hope for his sake that he builds a bunker at the front door, because that would help him a lot.
Speaking of which, he is getting a bunker at the front door, Painuser, and I think this will help to bolster that ramp when the 4-gate attack does come. These gateways, the 4th one not morphing into a warp gate quite yet, and we should see a pylon going up. There we go. This is going to help the Protoss player bring in reinforcements right away, right across the entire center of the map. A nice force field there. Oh, blocking off the rest of the Marines. This is going to be able to take out all those Marines. These Stalkers are fairly good. 3 Stalkers versus 3 Marines, a good trade if the Stalkers don't die, and there we go. Now the Terran player in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he's in a ton of trouble. If he had, I don't know why he pushed down his ramp like that. That's a super risky move, especially when you know that there's a sentry like sitting right outside your ramp and you have a bunker up. You might as well just load up, wait until you get the Banshee out, and then see what happens. And I think he might be scouting these proxy gateways with the Banshee right here.
Oh, it's gonna be so close. Oh, there we go. Hey! I think that
did he not see
that? Did not see the
Stargates. That's such bad luck. I hate it when stuff like that happens.
Yeah, he has no idea where all these forces are coming from because right now he thinks only 2 gateways in the Protoss main. Is O'Reilly cheating? How is he doing this? Bringing in so many forces, and he is going to get this Banshee into the Protoss base, but is it too little too late? Just like the previous game, we'll have to wait and see because this is a very menacing Protoss ball right outside the Terran front door. They're just going to walk up.
Oh, dear.
Brutal.
Yeah, the toss is coming in with a ton of Stalkers here, and his Banshee is just attacking the assimilator. He hasn't killed a single probe.
Well,
and yeah, it has 0 kills, and it's getting taken out by Stalkers now, so that's just too bad. Yeah, way too many Stalkers to deal with.
GG from the Terran player. So the Protoss player, O'Reilly, congratulations for winning the Google Starcraft 2 tournament.
Good work.
Quick 2-0. All right, so in anticipation of the quick games, we also decided to go ahead and cast a higher level game, no offense. We're gonna go ahead and cast a special game that Painuser has cooked up. This is one of his games against Katz, who is a very, very good Zerg player. So this is going to be a high level StarCraft 2 match, Terran versus Zerg, which is my favorite matchup. It's like the epitome of StarCraft. So here we go. We're going to go watch a 2-part game. Both of them going to be pretty good, hopefully.
It's also my favorite matchup in StarCraft.
Oh, I bet.
I enjoy ZVT a lot.
I bet. I bet you do.
ZVT is a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of different stuff you can do, a lot of different openings.
Taylor, you are so friendly in the beginning of every game. Sup, dude?
Yep.
Here we go. So Taylor going to be spawning. Taylor, the tall guy right here, as the red Terran at the 6 o'clock position. Also going to be on Lost Temple. I'm assuming this is a ladder match, is it not?
Yeah, we queued up twice on ladder, and then he immediately posted the replays on his clan website. So I think he beat me in one of them. I'm not sure which game it is, but that's pretty standard. When people beat you on the ladder, they go post all the replays everywhere and talk about it. But
oh, I beat Painuser.
Yeah,
I would post that everywhere if I beat you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Zerg player here. Oftentimes, Zerg, this is a race we haven't seen all day today, the buggy race. What they like to do is really pump that economy up because a Zerg player, typically versus Terran and versus Protoss, if they're even in terms of economy, and keep in mind that these are the harvesters, these are the guys that get you that money. If you're behind or you're even with the Terran or Protoss, you're really behind. You have to be ahead. You have to have an extra expansion, and you guys can see that there are extra expansion nodes where you can build those bases and start to double your income, and Zerg really needs double. They need to at least get that income a little bit higher if they want to be even with the Terran player. Very brutal if the Terran comes in with those harassing units and they're not ready.
Yeah, for Zerg, it's really important, like he said, to get your economy going extremely fast, and then also Zerg is the only race that can make multiple mining units out of the same mining unit producing structure.
The hatchery.
So yeah, the hatchery. they can produce multiple drones at once, and the key to playing Zerg is just to pump drones when and where you can. If there's times during the game where you feel safe and you have a window of opportunity where you can pump multiple drones, you need to take those opportunities and pull ahead of your opponent in economy. Otherwise, you're going to lose the game because Zerg units in a one-on-one situation or even in a group-on-group situation don't fare too well against Protoss or Terran. So you need overwhelming masses of units that you can freely throw away and replace. That's basically the whole philosophy behind Zerg. Their units are really expendable.
What Katz wants to do this game is really try to control the entire map. As Zerg, you want to be able to infest and control as many resource locations as humanly possible, or Zergly possible. And what Katz is doing here, I really like this. He's actually got a fairly early second gas, and he's pumping that metabolic boost right away. This is fairly standard nowadays in ZVT. Get speed before getting that fast expansion hatchery down, because speed for your Zerglings really helps deal with any kind of fast, small Marauder, Marine attack, or Hellions. Speedlings are very good against just basic 1, 2, or 3 Hellions. And Painuser, maybe you could talk a little bit about what your strategy was at this point in the game.
Yeah, sure. If you're on remote, please mute. And also, do we have game sound?
We should have game sound.
We
Yeah.
do? Okay.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah.
At this point in the game, I pulled all my mining units off of gas because I wanted to get up a really early expansion. And I don't know if I've dropped the command center yet. Check my phone real quick. I think, yeah. So I've got 2 barracks coming up right now and a single factory. And I wanted to do a Marine Hellion timing push really early on in the game.
Always nasty to deal with if you're Zerg.
It's always generally pretty good. Usually you can pick off an Overlord on the way, at the very least kill a couple Zerglings, but I saw his base and he's just on one base with a really quick layer coming, so I was super thrown off by this. He also has no fighting units to speak of. He has a single queen, so I got a full scout on his base, and at this point I was just thinking one base Muta. That's really the only opening that I could think of him going, and I was just trying to get in there and do a little bit of harassment, but he popped out Speedlings at the perfect time, right as my first Hellion got in there. So I was unable to do any damage with that. And now I was just focused on getting an expansion before he got his up, and I do have a command center building in my base safely behind my wall-in.
Oh, Hellion gets taken out there by the Speedlings right as it approached the safety of the Marines on that high ground. Little bit of a loss there for Painuser, and Katz now is going to be able to take map control with his Speedlings. And the unfortunate thing here for Zerg against Terran is, oh, if Painuser doesn't lift up that supply depot, that is the frontal door right there. Those Zerglings could get in there and do a lot of nasty damage, but it looks like Pain is now going to move out, going to try to secure that natural, going to throw down a bunker, and as well as add a reactor on this barracks because he is anticipating that Muta attack fairly soon, also getting Tech Lab here for those upgrades, and is now going to try to secure that frontal expansion. This is going to be a key part in the game. Can he secure it, or are the Zerglings going to flood in and do too much damage? It looks like the Hellion there with that flamethrower roasting away one Zergling, and back inside the Zerg base we do have a Spire coming up, and I love the placement of this Spire away from where the ComSat would technically scan it if Painuser had scanned already. This is not going to be seen by Pain, but I think he can anticipate the Mutalisk coming. I
actually scanned his base at one point, and I completely missed the Spire because of the location. What he's doing right there is he's using the Overlord ability to drop creep on the ground, and it enables you to build Zerg buildings like in random places. I've seen people put them like on top of their ledge, at their natural, just all over the place, and it makes it really hard to anticipate what unit they're actually using. But judging from his opening, I figured that another Hellion gets picked off right there. Judging from his opening, I figured, but really with these Hellions that I'm sending out, all I'm really trying to do is figure out how many units he has, what kind of units he has, and what tech buildings he has. And he's pretty much denying me from doing that. But I'm more than ready for the Mutalisks when they come in. I already have missile turrets up in all the key locations, and I'm starting to get Thors out as well and mix them in with my army. So I think that a one-base Mutalisk opening, like the way he did it, can be really effective, but you have to catch the Terran off guard. And I think it would almost be good to drop something like a Roach Warren or some other type of tech building just to make me think that you're doing something like that, and then drop the Spire afterwards and just completely switch it up on me.
Great positioning of the turrets here by Painuser, which is going to ward away those air units, and the Marines also can shoot air as well, fending away those Mutalisks once again. The nice thing for the Zerg player right here, the blue player, is he's got complete map control against the Terran. Terran is pretty much walled in because they're fearful of moving out for those Mutalisks, which control the skies right now. And what Katz can do, our Zerg player, is grab a third expansion. Looks like that's what he's planning to do. His Harvester count is significantly higher than the Terran players, 40 44 over 33, and now he's starting to secure this gold. The gold minerals give a little bit more increased income than the blue, and we should expect to see Painuser. He's going to have to push out soon. He just needs to bulk up that Terran ball, move out, and make something happen. But right now, Cats controls the sky, and he's getting that Baneling nest, which is very brutal against Terran Bio. Those things just roll in, explode, and do so much damage.
Yeah, they really do. They're tough to deal with. And they're really underused. A lot of Zerg players don't really use Banelings too much. I think they're one of the better units that Zerg has, especially if you use Burrow and wait for people to walk over your Banelings and then just blow them all up, kill their whole army. That works out pretty well. And a lot of people don't keep mobile detection with their army. Well, at least Terran. You have to get a Raven against Zerg, and that's your only form of mobile detection. So I don't often get Ravens against Zerg unless I know that they're going for some kind of burrow play or burrowed roaches or something like that. It's very rare that I actually get a Raven.
Absolutely. It's not often that Zerg players go for invisible types of units. It looks like this is the push we've been waiting for, and here's the key part of the game. Can the Thor do enough damage to the mutas? Thor do splash damage to air. Looks like some mutas taking hits right there, but I don't think any fell. The one thing Cats wants to do here is spread his mutas out, fly him above the Thor, and then engage. But he's also got to be careful about those Marines, especially with stim packs, which, aka drugs, makes them shoot about 2 times faster for a temporary amount of time. So what Cats needs to do is get his Banelings. These are the Banelings, ladies and gentlemen, and they do a lot of damage to infantry when they just roll in there, and they take so much away from the Terran forces. So if we look at the income tab, we still have Cats ahead, 1,800 to 14. It looks like Pain is going to try to secure that gold expansion, and this is wise play. Slowly push out to the Terran, slow push, control the map, and slowly increase your territory. But these infestors could prove to be a bit of problematic for the Terran forces, especially that fungal growth and Baneling combination.
Yep, fungal growth and Banelings both go together really well. They're a very synergistic combination of units. The fungal growth roots all of your units in place so that they can't move, and then the Banelings just roll in and blow everything up, and it makes it it makes Banelings difficult. That much better because you can't run away from them, pretty much. And that's really the only counter to Banelings is to run away. And right now, I'm just trying to fortify the middle of the map and make sure that I have a secure position there, which will allow me to safely take my 3rd expansion. So if you see, I'm dropping a bunch of random bunkers. And I'm doing that because I know he has a bunch of Banelings, so I'm really worried that he's just going to try and attack me during a timing window when I'm not paying attention, or try and do something sneaky, so I'm just fortifying up the middle of the map. And I know that I have turrets at my main and my natural, so I'm not really worried about Mutalisks harassing my main or my natural expansion, which is the one right outside my main base. And he is actually trying to harass me a little bit with the Mutalisks right now, but largely ineffective with his harass. He hasn't really managed to do any critical damage to me throughout this entire game, and now I'm going to go for a little bit of a drop, but if I remember this game correctly, I think he shuts down my drop pretty well.
Well, let's see. The dropships are going to come in right into the main and drop off these Marauders. Marauders with stim take out buildings very fast, but this Peeling's going to skate right on the creep and try to engage and fend off the Marauders. An Evolution Chamber gets taken down, but there was no upgrade being researched there at that time, or perhaps there was. Yeah, there was an upgrade. And the Fungal Growth also stopping the dropship. Oh, just barely gets out of there with 2 health. Meanwhile, the Mutalisk engaging at the center of the field, but those Marines are going to repel it away. Lots of action currently in the game, but looks like we haven't seen that massive battle that we've been waiting for quite yet. That's a lot of Banelings too. As a 4th hatchery trying to come up, this Marine is like, oh god, it gets taken out right there. And the Zerg here trying to secure his 4th expansion, and he's also getting Corruptors. I love this. It looks like he's going to try to tech up to the nasty Broodlords. He has the Greater Spire out, which does unlock that technology route, and Broodlords are so powerful against any race. Unless our Terran player here, Painuser, gets Vikings, he could be in a lot of trouble. His food right now, 129. and the Zerg players at 167, and doesn't look too good for you, Payne.
Yeah, Broodlords are amazing, and I had absolutely no idea that he was switching to Broodlords. He totally caught me with my pants down on that one. I probably should have scanned his base a couple more times, because he was on 3 base, and I saw that he was only making Banelings, Roaches, and Lings, and he only had the few Mutalisks that he made earlier, so he wasn't massing them, so I should have known that something was up, but I was more worried about those green glowing like explosive things that I kept seeing everywhere.
Those things are very, very nasty.
And we hadn't engaged at this point yet, so I haven't whittled down his Baneling numbers at all. So there's basically just this giant atomic bomb waiting for me in the middle of the map, and I was really worried about pushing into it. So I was trying to play passive, and the only way to break a passive Terran is to siege them with Broodlords, and Broodlords are essentially flying siege tanks. I mean, they can shoot really far. Right here, I actually managed to do a little drop on the top of the map and pick off his 4th expansion without losing any units, which was really good for me. That kind of brought me back into the game.
Oh, if you lose these 2 dropships, though, that could be a nice equalizer for the Zerg. Cats takes out 1 dropship. The Force is trying to evacuate the helicopter before it gets taken out. That dropship gets taken out as well, and the Thor is going to repel away those mutas. So, oh, here comes those Broodlords. So those are so nasty. They are just going to force these siege tanks to unsiege and fall back. The Marines here valiantly trying to push forward to the frontal lines to take out the Broodlords, but the Banelings taking out a couple. But it looks like their Cat's lost all of his Broodlords. That's pretty huge, but he's going to push forward anyways and try to make this game his, and he's going to throw down the fungal growth. Huge battle here, and it looks like the Terran mech might just get penetrated by the Zerg forces today.
I think it comes down to like 1 Thor. I'm
one
trying
hero
to micro
Thor.
my Thors away from the Roaches so that he can't get the one that's in red.
Oh.
And my 2 Thors managed to hold off everything. Thank God.
But the thing is, the Zerg player can macro very quickly. Oh my goodness, look at this. Do these, no, these Overlords don't not have load yet, so they can't pick up these Banelings and Zerglings, but Cats is going to hide them amongst the bushes here, where the Terran player cannot see. The production tab is showing ventral stacks on the way, so I think Cats is just waiting to get that upgrade for his Overlords, and then very soon he's going to try to drop the Speedlings and Banelings. There we go. The Overlords are loading up these atomic bombs, and they're going to go straight into possibly the main, or just drop them onto the Terran forces right here. This could be very brutal. What is Painuser going to be able to do? I think this might just be a diversion right here, as he's dropping off some Speedlings into the barracks, going to try to halt the production of the Terran player. What are you thinking right now, Taylor?
I was just reacting. He's attacking my front right now. Go in front.
Ultralisks are out. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he attacks me with a bunch of Ultralisks at my front right here. I was not ready for that tech switch either. I would have had a lot more Marauders had I known that he was going to switch to Ultras like this. Right now, I literally have like 3 units. I have 2 Marines and a Medevac, and he has like a bunch of Ultralisks running around my base, and then he's also dropping my main, which I think I fended off with my Vikings. I picked off a ton of Overlords with these Vikings. And right now, I'm just pumping units like crazy and adding production buildings and building planetary fortresses all over the map.
Trying desperately to survive.
Yeah,
the oncoming Zerg onslaught. More Speedlings coming in. Taylor here, can you hold it off? He looks like you take out that final Ultralist, but the Speedlings coming in, doing significant damage to your reinforcements. It is looking very bad for you. You've also lost all your Harvesters at the gold expansion. I gotta say, this is not a good day for the Terran Confederacy.
Yeah, we're not doing so hot right now. He really has me on my back foot right now. He's forcing me to react to everything that he's doing, as opposed to me dictating the flow of the game and me imposing my will on him. He's just imposing his will on me right now, but a lot of times in the late game like this, especially against Zerg, if you can just weather the storm and deal with everything they throw at you, sometimes you can get into a situation where you can bring the game back into a stable situation. Right now I have a planetary fortress up in the middle of the map, which cuts off his avenue to my 4th and 5th expansions. So if he wants to fight me in the middle of the map again, he's going to have to fight me at a planetary fortress, which is good for me.
Not good.
And now I'm trying to go on trying to establish a little bit of a position past the halfway mark on this map, which I haven't crossed once this entire game, just because he's been attacking me the whole time and dropping me and just doing all kinds of other really annoying stuff. But I think I caught him in transition right here. He's trying to go into Hydra Ultra, and he wasn't really ready for me to push right now.
Oh my goodness, this could be very bad for the Zerg player. I'm not sure what's happening here. It looks like, Pain, you know what? You weren't as bad off as you thought. You actually had 2 bases to the other side of the map, and it looks like you could possibly take out this gold expansion. What a brutal comeback. If you could take out this hatchery and the remaining, cut off the Zerg reinforcements. I mean, one thing I gotta fault Cats for is he's not spreading the creep as well as he should be. You guys can see the creep is just isolated to each hatchery. Nice fungal growth to help, I guess, whittle down those forces a little bit, but these Marauders here are gonna go in and engage the Ultras. Ultras are fairly good, but Marauders can micro away from those Ultras. Another Zerg attack. This is Cat's last stand here. He has to hold this off. Surprisingly, Painuser somehow making a comeback attack. Could he take out all the Zerg forces? I think that's a lot of carcasses on the ground, and I think Painuser is going to push forward and possibly secure a victory out of Hell's reach.
Yeah, what happened was basically is he launched that really aggressive last push.
Or possibly what happened
and
was
here we have some Zerg tears, the Trail of Tears coming down. Boom.
GG.
Game is called. We have the one on.
Well played, Taylor. Well played.
Thanks. Indeed, I think he might. He definitely gets the best of me in one of these games. So I don't remember which one it is, but I think it might be the other one that we have. I'm not sure.
So here we go. We're going to go ahead and load up the final game that we're going to be broadcasting tonight here at Google. It's going to be another rematch between Taylor and Cats, Painuser and Cats. And here we go. It's going to be on Metalopolis. Cats spawning as the red Zerg at the 6 o'clock location. And he is going to be here on Metalopolis. His opponent, Painuser, going to be the blue Terran over at the 8 o'clock location on Metalopolis. How are you feeling about that last win, man?
That was a huge comeback, for sure.
That was a very...
I thought I was out of that game, like, the whole time.
I was not expecting you to come back out of the blue. I mean, you were down in economy. He took out several of your harvesters, and somehow you just came in there with a final last hurrah, last push, and you took it.
Indeed. And one thing that it's really tough playing against Cats, because he doesn't really play like a lot of other Zergs out there. He launches these like random aggressive attacks, and he doesn't, there's no precursor. He doesn't telegraph it at all. He just like masses up a bunch of units and then just like rolls to your base and says, "What's up?" And it's really hard to deal with because most Zergs drone up very aggressively throughout the entire game. They just try and play a very macro-oriented game. And I think a lot of that has to do with the way Hydra plays, he's basically the #1 Zerg in the world, or the #1 foreigner Zerg in the world. And when I say foreigner, I mean like us. Like, to the Koreans, we are considered foreigners, and StarCraft is their world. They are so much better than we are. It's remarkable. But right now, actually, there is a tournament, I think for $150,000 US, that's going on in South Korea right now. And it's one of the first tournaments it's called the GSL, and it's the Global StarCraft League, and it's one of the first tournaments that's actually been open to foreigners. Normally, you have to obtain a pro gaming license in Korea, which is something that's very difficult to come by. You have to win a tournament that's held, I think, bi-yearly, that like 10 to 15 foreigners have entered, and they haven't made it out of the first round, except for one person, Noni, who is he's from the United States. I think he made it to the semifinals of one, but ended up getting knocked out anyway. So yeah, no foreigners have ever obtained an official pro gaming license by winning that tournament. So
man, it's very difficult to get that pro gaming license. But like you said, it's nice that they have the GSL now, wide open for any kind of participant who wants to come in and compete. Hopefully, maybe we'll see you there in the next competition. It's stiff. There's a lot of good players out there.
There really are. I mean, yeah, I would probably have to win a few majors here first before any kind of sponsor would be willing to commit that kind of money into me to send me to Korea.
There's always hope, man.
Yeah. I'm hopeful. I'd have to pull like a TLO and like nuke rush somebody in like the finals of a tournament.
People love, the spectators love watching interesting and creative play. And for those of you guys who don't know, if you play Terran, you can go for nukes, which, you know, nuclear missiles, which are very hard to use, but they're always a crowd pleaser. And TLO, the little one, uses nukes so effectively, and that's one of the reasons why he's become so successful. But he is a great player as well.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah. So anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this game, Taylor. Looks like you're coming off fresh off that victory, come back out of nowhere. Cat's got to be a little bit annoyed about that. So it looks like, interestingly, he's opened with a pretty standard hatchery first, spawning pool later, getting a roach warren out. He's pumping out 4 roaches. He's only got 1 extractor. This is all you need to fuel your roach economy. And I think what he's doing here is just getting roaches to possibly deal with Hellions that might come out, because you do love those Hellions. And there's one right there. The flamethrower on the turret does a lot of damage to drones, and you know, roaches hold that off quite well.
Yeah, roaches do very well against Hellions. And this game, I really wasn't anticipating his kind of early aggression. He played like a very all-in style this game, and really aggressive. Usually players who early expand and switch into roach, they don't pressure you this early, and he came straight to my base. Oh, I think I lose this. Yeah, lose that Hellion, which kind of hurts because I really have no units to speak of to deal with this rush that he has coming. And he has a bunch of speedlings and roaches queued up. He's getting Zergling speed, so he really just had me on my back foot. And I'm trying to take a really early natural expansion right now. I think I have a command center about to go up. But I do manage to get up a bunker and hold this initial roach push of his with Marines and Hellions. But that definitely wasn't the right unit composition to deal with the units he's making. And he was going Speedling Roach, and I went pretty much predominantly Marine Hellion, and Marines and Hellions do not do very well against roaches, and nor do they do very well against Speedlings. Hellions with pre-igniter, which is like the damage upgrade for Hellions, it makes them much more effective against Zerglings, but without that, they're only good in large numbers against Zerglings, really.
Oh, absolutely. Marauders, especially, unless they're in large numbers, they fail to Zerglings quite easily, especially if Cats can get that surround off. Looks like a unit there getting taken out. And Painuser going to try to secure that natural front door, going to get his economy running right now. One thing that Painuser, I like what you're doing here, is adding on those barracks. This is going to help secure that front door. You're going to need forces and bunkers, of course, because the Zerg right now is playing so aggressively. He's got speed just kicking in right there. That really increases the speed of those Speedlings as they traverse across this one-lane highway across the map. And we also have roaches coming from the southern road as well, so this could be some kind of a dual-pronged attack. The Speedling's going to run into these Hellions, got to surround them, but Painuser not controlling those Hellions allows them to die. Could have ran them away, possibly. And this is the first-person view of Painuser we were watching right now. Not a good sight to see. Force to pull his Harvesters off the line to fight. That's never a position you want to be in. Those Harvesters need to be mining and not fighting. And if we take a look at Cat's first-person view, you guys can see he's struggling to make what he can. He just built a spire right there on the creep, and he's forced to pull back his roaches as well from the Terran advance. So really, as you guys can see in that first-person view, both players really controlling their units and bouncing around the map as much as possible. Very difficult to play StarCraft 2 at this high level of play.
Also, he really wasn't droning up nearly as hard as I thought he was. He was making a ton of military units when I thought that he was making a bunch of economical units. And he kind of catches me off guard right here with a ton of Speedlings and roaches that I just did not anticipate coming.
Not good right there. Getting surrounded, Painuser, by all those roaches and lings. That can't have felt good.
No, not at all. And I think that's one thing that can put a Zerg player ahead a lot, is if he just like crushes one of your initial pushes, just kills everything you have. It makes it really difficult to recover from there, because as Terran, you never really want your army to wipe. I mean, if you're a Zerg player and you lose a majority of your army, it's okay. You can rebuild all those units. Right here, he's going for a run-by, and he's also trying to take out my bunkers. He's playing super aggressive. I'm forced to pull off and repair my bunkers with a bunch of SCVs. I think he still manages to get one of them. And I think I barely, I don't even hold this off, I don't think. He kills a ton of SCVs right here.
The SCVs, by the way, are those harvesters. They're pulling off the mineral line to fight the roaches once again. If we look at the harvester count, though, Painuser's still ahead at 42 harvesters, so he's really been pumping out the economy, whereas Cats has been pumping out fighting units, still has 3 roaches here, trying to force off the Terran defense, and it looks like, I think Painuser is going to be able to hold on, throwing out 2 new bunkers to fortify that front wall, where, oh my goodness, we have Mutalisk flying in right now for Cats, and this has got to be bad for you.
Yeah, he's just like not making harvesters. He's just like switching from unit to unit and just being really aggressive, and I found it very hard to deal with. And it comes back to my front door again, and I don't manage to get anything into these bunkers, I don't think.
Well, you have nothing to shoot the air, which these Mutalisks are flying, so
I have absolutely no anti-air right now.
Tons of damage to you right now.
I'm in a really bad situation. I think I'm forced to lift. I have a couple missile turrets in my main, I think, that I can fall back to, but...
Yes, you do have one.
Yeah, I have 1 missile turret. I don't think that's going to stop his
this is so brutal. You're losing all of your harvesters. Those blue SCVs are all getting taken out. The Mutalisks and the Zerglings still rampaging at the Terran Natural. Bunker burning down, and the command center lifts off. That's one thing that Terran players can do, is their buildings... somehow, some way defy the laws of physics and just fly up in the air and float. Cat's here, now going to secure his 3rd. This is where I think the Zerg player, he has a feeling of confidence and control. He can start to pump out a lot of drones and catch up, or actually is way ahead economically, 45 to 33.
Mm-hmm. He actually in a great situation right now. I'm in possibly as bad of a situation as you can get to. I've been forced to lift off my natural expansion, pull back into my main base. I'm trying to recuperate here, but I really just don't have enough units to deal with what he's throwing at me. And as soon as he takes that gold expansion, he's just going to skyrocket ahead of me in income.
Absolutely.
There's really no way for me to deal with it.
Well, right now you're only on 1 base, whereas he is about to get 3. I mean, yeah, the 3rd is just about to get saturated by the drones, and there's another attack coming. This is constant pressure from the Zerg player.
Yeah, it's a style of play that I'm really not used to, and I think it makes him a pretty unpredictable and good player. Like a lot of Zergs, the way they play is so much more predictable. They just have like standard evolution of tech. They have standard attack timings.
Yeah, they're not aggressive.
Yeah, they're not aggressive, and he just goes like, you know, all in speedling to roach and then straight into Mutalisk. It's just very difficult to deal with because I'm forced to build units that shoot air. I'm forced to put up missile turrets around my base to defend it. Right. I'm forced to switch tech as well. And if I don't anticipate what he's doing and stay 1 step ahead, a situation like this can present itself.
Well, right now you're playing extremely defensively. You have no options to be aggressive. Save this dropship. This might be your saving grace, Taylor. If you can get these 4 Marauders into the Zerg base and inflict some damage to the Zerg, then perhaps you're back in this game, because right now things are looking very, very bleak. 40 harvesters under 55. Tell me about these Marauders, Painuser. Are you going to be able to do any damage with these?
I don't know. I'm trying to just pick off any kind of tech buildings that I can. I managed to force a cancel on the Baneling Nest, and I think I also forced a cancel on this upgrade.
Ooh,
he transfused the evolution chamber, but I think it goes down anyway. He's actually really quick with those transfuses. Whenever I start attacking one of his buildings that's up, he always transfuses it.
Great control from the Marauders, but the Mutalisk coming in overhead to pick off that dropship, and that 4 Marauder paratrooper party dies and perishes in the Zerg main. Not a good sight to see for our Terran. Painuser, you're trying everything you can to get back in this game. I think you really need a 3rd expansion here. You need to secure this resource node to get back in this game, whereas Cats has got the gold up and running. He's looking very strong economically. He's got a 4th base up as well. And you've got some Hellions running across the outside perimeter outskirts of Metalopolis. Perhaps you can do some damage with this.
Yeah, when I get there, I realize that he really doesn't have any drones at his 30. He has like 3 drones. I was not happy about that. Yeah, I was hoping for a bit of a gold mine here.
A drone barbecue.
Yeah, didn't get it.
This is like a picnic. Take what you can, and then, of course, the Queen there punching away at those Hellions. It looks like the Mutalisks and the Roach is going to fend off that Hellion attack. Boom. Gets another drone right there. And this last Hellion trying to run away. It gets taken out.
Oh, and he's also getting Baneling speed now, and I think that's pretty much what does me in. Once he gets a ton of Banelings. after I killed his Baneling nest, I was hoping that I would have a window of time to push with a bunch of Marines.
This could be that window of opportunity, though. Here it comes. The Baneling's trying to get on the Marines. Oh, half of the Marines getting taken out. These Overlords just kind of floating in. I'm not sure what they're there for. I guess just to distract. And it looks like Cat's here. Oh, nice. Gonna push back. Terran advance. Ouch.
Just picked off 2 roaches.
Take what you can.
If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die fighting.
The roach there also getting taken out in retreat. The Overlords here actually are spewing creep, which does help the Zerg player get a little bit more of a speed bonus. The Banelings there, I love that control from Painuser, getting the fragile Marines, those small guys, away from those green little roly-polies, which do so much damage. And here the Overlords are exposed, all of them getting taken out by the Marines, but the Zergling's gonna surround and take out. Oh, nice control. Painuser loading up in the dropships and runs away, and these forces cannot attack the air. Nice control right there from Taylor. Doing whatever you can to get back in this game because, of course, things aren't looking too good.
Yeah, I needed to take a third at some point, if at all possible. And I was unable to do that because of all the pressure that he had been applying this entire game.
Absolutely.
It just made it really difficult for me to get back in this or make anything happen. But he does throw away a lot of units towards the end of the game here. And at a few points, I thought there were a couple points at which I could climb back into this, but I just was unable to inflict any critical damage to his economy. He's pretty much shut down all my drops. All my Hellion run-bys haven't really done anything substantial. And yeah, if the income tab, he's also got Ultralisks on the way, which
Broodlords.
Ultralisks and Broodlords.
Yes, very nasty.
So he's got all the Zerg top tier units, which, I mean, it's very difficult to deal with Marines and Marauders.
These are the final evolution of the Zerg forces. This is the epitome of Zerg. These Broodlords are so powerful, flying artillery. The Marines desperately trying to get away from the Zerg. They do not want to allow them to surround the Marines. This is going to be so close. Great control from Painuser. He might even be forced to load up into the dropships, but as he retreats, he has lost so many of his forces. This is what remains of those valiant Marines and Marauders. Now only 3 remain. 3 are running away from the constant Zerg pressure.
Brutal.
And this is so brutal. The Terran forces diminished to these 3 Marines. They're going to run home and tell their buddies how brutal the war is out there.
Did you guys see what happened to Jim? Baneling rolled right in his face. We're not leaving the base again. So these Broodlords coming in, taking out all my production here. I finally did get my 3rd up and running. And really trying to climb back in this economically, but he hits my 3rd right now with Speedlings, and he's also hitting my main with these Broodlords, just hitting me from all angles, making it very difficult to deal with, and I just don't have enough forces to deal with this.
One of the great aspects of a high-level StarCraft 2 player is being able to attack from multiple angles. As you guys can see here, the Zerg attacking with Broodlords into the main, killing off the production facilities, and he's also attacking this 3rd expansion, forced all the Harvesters to run away. Once again, the command center lifting off, and that is going to keep it alive for now, but there's just too much Zerg. If you guys look on the mini-map, it's all dominated by red. Zerg has infested this entire city area on Metalopolis, and Painuser is just trying to recuperate and regather wherever possible.
Just scrambling at this point, trying to make units.
Oh my goodness.
And now the Ultras are out. When I saw these, I was like, oh god, facepalm. This is not fun. You never want to see Ultralisks and their tiny little heads. Zoom in on one of those tiny little heads.
They are so small. I mean, they have the brain of like a dinosaur, like a pea brain.
It's all good. They have the giant plate to just headbutt things in the face with, and do 80 damage to buildings and whatnot. But anyway, he's pushing right now to try and end this game. I actually have my forces out of position right now. I'm waiting at the middle of the map. I was hoping I could catch him on his way across, but he's already across.
Yeah, he's already way up there. I don't think you noticed this, and you're like
staying just outside of the range of my sensor tower.
That is true, and here he comes. He's going to barrel up this ramp, and this is not looking too good for Team Terran.
Not at all. You never want to let your SCVs get caught off guard like that.
Oh, goodness.
He's just destroying my economy right now.
Oh my goodness! Oh, yeah. Fungal Growth also stopping the retreat of the SCVs. Marauders here coming from the south to try to save this expansion. but the damage has been done, as can be seen by the littered debris on the ground and all those harvesters dying. Painuser, one last attempt. Fungal growth holding those units from retreating.
Yeah,
this is going to be
killer.
close, but I think that Cats is going to assure victory here. Painuser still in this game, though, hasn't tapped out quite yet, so got to give you some credit there for hanging on when, you know, all is lost.
All is definitely lost. I mean, I just played that last game, right? So I thought there was a slight chance I could be able to crawl back into this, but there's no way.
GG, well played.
Is called. It's a good game.
All right.
So yeah, thanks everybody for coming out. I hope you guys enjoyed the talk. It was a pleasure coming here and seeing everybody, and hopefully we can come back sometime in the future.
Thank you.